CBS Records and the band Judas Priest were accused of causing the suicides of two young men through the use of subliminal messages. One of the boys lived long enough to tell others that the music of Judas Priest had made him do it. James Vance and Ray Belknap's friendship seemed based on their similar lifestyles. Both had problems with school and work, and both used drugs. 2 days before Christmas in 1985, Ray gave James an early Christmas present, the Judas Priest album Stained Class. Locked in Belknap's bedroom, the two teenagers played the album over and over again.
They began listening to the music repeatedly. They had some favorite songs. They began to sing along with some of the lyrics in the music, which emphasized suicide as a valid alternative to life's problems.
They knew they were going to go shoot themselves. They looked at each other, and he said, let's see what's next, and let's do it.
But he felt compelled to pull the trigger. And he began chanting, do it, do it, do it, and he did it. And he pulled the trigger.
To the best of your knowledge today, what is the cause of James shooting himself?
I would say it was him listening to the Judas Priest heavy metal music.
It came from the Judas Priest album, according to Dr. Wilson Bryan Key, a professor of marketing who has written extensively on subliminal messages. He says the song Better By You, Better Than Me contains the barely audible words, do it, repeated over and over.
And each time do it is increased in hysterical intensity. So it's do it, do it, do it, do it. And we pulled 12 of those out of that one song.
Reno, Doctor. What makes it even more incredible is that the lawsuit contends the teens were influenced by subliminal messages of death and suicide on the record. One of their main witnesses is Wilson Bryan Key, who's written books on subliminal messages.
Time must end before 16. This reoccurs in the lyrics. The idea that 16 is the high point in life. After that, it's all downhill, so pick your time and place and blow yourself away. Okay, the first line, read forward, says, new arms into adulter bliss. Now, when you take that line out and play it backwards, you're getting this. Sing my evil spirit. These young people were probably already in trouble before they ever heard Judas Priest. But as a force that lowers the inhibitory defenses against suicide, legitimatizes, in effect, the act of suicide. Yes, indeed, they have a great deal of responsibility.
In an attempt to demonstrate the existence of these alleged subliminal messages, the prosecution recently brought in a man named Bill Nickloff, who was identified as an audio expert, but who turned out to be a marine biologist and only an amateur audio enthusiast. Nickloff set up some computerized equipment and proceeded to unveil what he seemed to think were such evil hidden messages as do it and F the Lord. See what you make of this.
Would you tell us what of your reverse phrases we are hearing now?
Expletive, the Lord.
I think that...
Okay, the first line, read forward, says, new arms into adulter bliss. Now, when you take that...
Better by you, better than me. You can tell me what I want it to be. You can say what I want to see. It's better by you, better than me. Better by you, better than me. You can tell me what I want it to be. You one can see. It's better by you, better than me. Better by you, better than me. You can tell them what I want it to be. You can say what I want it can see. It's better by you, better than me. Better by you, better than me. You can say what I only can see. You can tell them what I want it to be. It's better by you, better than me. Better by you, better than me. You can tell them what I want it to be. You can say what I only can see. Better by you, better than me. It's better by you, better than me. You can't tell her what I want it to be. You can't say what I only can see. It's better by you, better than me.
Kind of scary when you think about it, what artists may be putting on their tracks to influence you. Now, here's one that there's a lot of controversy raging about. In California right now, and Philip Wyman in the California Assembly, he's trying to pass legislation that would say that any album that included backward masking on it would have to carry a warning sticker. Here's the group.
An influential group of concerned parents, headed by the wives of Secretary of State James Baker and presidential candidate Albert Gore, have successfully campaigned to get the record industry to put warning stickers like these on some albums. And they even managed to make rock music the subject of a Senate hearing.
The material we're concerned about cannot be compared with Louie Louie, Cole Porter, Billie Holiday, etc. Cole Porter's The Birds Do It, The Bees Do It can hardly be compared with Wasp, I-F-U-C-K like a beast. The proliferation of songs glorifying rape, sadomasochism, incest, the occult, and suicide by a growing number of bands illustrates this escalating trend that is alarming.
In court, lead singer Rob Halford claimed that the "do it" sound heard by the prosecution was a breathing technique he uses to personalise his songs. This involves a heavy breath at the end of each phrase. He was called upon to demonstrate this to the judge.
I think I get the right key. It goes, better by you, better than me. You can see what I only can see.
CBS Records brought in their own experts to explain Halford's singing technique.
It's hard to describe them. I would describe them as expressive grunts which happen in between the vocal lines. It's all part of Rob's performance of the song as a lead vocalist.
Is that an unusual thing for a singer to do?
No, not at all. Elvis Presley made a career out of it.
If it had been created by somebody who had the ability to create something in order to do something to somebody or have an effect on somebody, it surely would have had an effect on many more people.
They'd have been dropping like flies all around the world.
From that point to this, and as somebody said, if we're going to put subliminal content on there, even if we had the ability to do so in 1978, we would have just said, hey, buy more records or something like that.
The judge ruled that Judas Priest were not to blame for the suicides of James Vance and Ray Belknap. He said that he did hear the hidden messages, such as "do it" on the record, but he also ruled it was a chance combination of sounds and not an intentional subliminal command.
Listen to the beginning of In League with Satan from Venom's album Welcome to Hell. First, we'll listen to it forwards.
The music is reversible, but time. Turn back. Turn back. Turn back. Turn back.
Congratulations, you have just discovered the secret message. Please send your answer to Old Pink, Chalfont.
Praise the Lord!
You're playing me backwards.
Atanu, wiski blemnu. No biski wiski de so. What was the thing with 3 bones? Good melody thing you won't understand. Hori no roy. Here without Splash near for you. Slash not as near for you. Sleep and what? That's the memory, Shani. Be nice to your mom and dad. Don't abuse. Don't blow your brains out on drugs. Rock your brains out. By the way, you're ruining your needle.
Och, niks blauw flessen dan mooi. Your mother self-wells in home.
Oh, say, oh, he knows no good. Is this a monster? There's no message here. You're going to ruin your needle, asshole.
What are you looking for the devil for when you ought to be looking for the Lord?
Boludo, administra de Juan. Y da vuelta a la cinta, boludo. Uy. You.
Les voy a mostrar cómo se edita analógicamente en un cintero de carrete abierto. Es un método sumamente artesanal que se usó hace muchísimos años antes de que aparecieran las computadoras.
Este sistema de edición se usó en estudios de audio y radios en la década de los 60, 70, 80 y parte de los 90, hasta que entraron los primeros sistemas digitales. Una vez grabadas las secuencias, se pasa a la localización del principio de la secuencia. Se marca del lado contrario al cabezal lector y se busca el principio de la segunda secuencia. Se corta la cinta con una gilette. Se colocan las cintas sin que se sobrepongan los extremos. Se pone la cinta adhesiva y se pega. De esta manera van quedando las secuencias unidas.
And so let's say I wanted to cut here, and I do want... All right, so let's go ahead and pull this back a little bit. So we're going to shorten the front, and you just select what you want, hold the control key and click. Move your mouse over to the edge, and the arrow, the cursor will look like that, and then you can drag it over. And then let's say we want to cut out this first bit here. So let's select both of these and move the mouse where you want to make the cut and press the S key on the keyboard, and that will cut it. And then you can select those again, drag over. If, let's say, you only want to remove some audio from one part, you can just select that one track, move the mouse to grab, and then drag that over. Let's trim this a little bit. Let's move this. Yeah, we don't need this part, so let's go ahead and just delete that. And then let's move this over for a little bit of overlap.
Over and over again, not only in rock music, but people in Hollywood, all over, who are being called by Satan into his army. Okay? Again, and I tell you right now, people in high places are being used by spirits to suck the world into the new age under Antichrist, and it's not just in rock music. That just happens to be what we're exposing today. Okay? And then we're talking about, if you wanted to make lyrics backwards on a song, you're going to mess up that song forward pretty bad, right? Well, Stairway to Heaven is the most popular song in rock and roll. So this destroys any kind of argument that comes against it. And what destroys it more is the lyric forward often has everything to do with the lyric backwards. And to take it even further, you can hear a lot of these same things on live albums backwards, because it's the demonic spirits using these human beings. Do you understand that? So let's listen to it. Remember, first of all, that they were invoking Satan, that they've got it from Satan, and listen to what you hear backwards. Listen carefully. Raise your hand if you heard anything right away. Okay, that was without me even telling you anything. I've seen a lot of hands go up. Forward.
We've never put subliminal messages on any album, and this album in question was 14 years old. We couldn't even afford our lunch when we did this album, so I mean, we couldn't afford the sophisticated equipment that they say we needed to put this. The way they said that we put these messages on the album is, even today's, the technology you would need to use, it's impossible.
I heard absolutely nothing. I have excellent hearing. I heard "Do It" after about the second time it was played through.
I heard something that I could...
But you couldn't make it out?
Not if I hadn't been told before what it was supposed to say.